In my last video, I told you the story of how my husband and I went from being completely overwhelmed by money to building a much calmer, more financially stable life. Not because we became different people, not because we suddenly became amazing at math, but because we started making decisions on purpose. I want to zoom out today because this applies to way more than just money. It applies to time, energy, goals. It applies to why so much of us feel like we're constantly behind and never quite doing the things that matter most. I wrote a short guide called Decide Once. It's about how you can stop renegotiating your life every single day and start protecting what matters most. You can grab it using the link below. Here's the honest truth. When I hear people say, I don't have time, what they usually mean is my time is already spent. When people say I don't have money, what they usually mean is my money has already been spent. Neither of those is a character flaw. It's not laziness. It's not a discipline issue. It's just what happens when those resources aren't assigned intentionally. If you don't decide where your time goes, it gets spent emotionally. When you don't decide where your money goes, it gets spent emotionally. It looks like doom scrolling, Target runs, Starbucks, just one more episode. It's only $20. None of these things are bad, but unplanned spending, time or money, always feels invisible in the moment, and then it's so loud later. For a long time, that's exactly how I lived. Before I got my finances under control, I thought I had an income problem or a discipline problem or a motivation problem, or maybe worse, like an intellectual problem. I didn't. I had a priority problem, and I didn't even know it. I was reacting to life all day. I moved 1,600 miles away to go to a very expensive private college at 18 years old. I graduated with a ton of debt and no financial literacy and a job that didn't pay me enough. At one point, I canceled my health insurance so I could keep my car insurance. And it's not because I was irresponsible, it's just because I had no system. No decisions had been made in advance. Everything was just a reaction. When things started to change, it wasn't because I suddenly became a more disciplined person. It was because I started deciding first instead of reacting. This is exactly what I mean when I talk about decide once. It's not a priority trick. It's a way of deciding what matters and then building your life around that so you don't have to fight with yourself every day. That's why I made this guide, because most of us don't need more pressure. We just need fewer decisions. Your calendar already shows your priorities. Your bank account already shows your priorities. Not your aspirational priorities, but your actual priorities. And I want to say this really gently. It's not about shame. It's about awareness. Because you cannot change what you're not willing to look at honestly. Priorities aren't what you say matters. They're what you fund with your time and with your money. You can't have these aspirational priorities if your time and money are spent in different areas. It's the same thing I learned about with my biking. For years, walking was my thing. And then I started biking as something extra. And slowly, without even really realizing it, biking became a priority for me. Not because I was trying harder, but because I was choosing it. Back then, I bought a bike trailer so that I could bike with my toddler, so that I could fit it into my life, because it was a priority to me. That's not motivation, that's structure. That's building my life around my priorities. That's why consistency feels so hard for so many people. They're not failing at discipline. They're trying to build a life around unassigned priorities. Everything important is living in the if I have time category. And the if I have time category is where good intentions go to die. If your life feels heavy and chaotic and busy, I want you to hear this. You are not broken. You probably just haven't protected what matters to you. If this is resonating with you and you want help thinking through what you should actually decide once in your own life, I made a short guide that's just for you. It's called Decide Once, and you can get it by clicking the link in the description below. In the next video, I'm going to show you my exact system that I use to budget not just my money, but my entire life, my time, my energy, my rest, my work, in a way that doesn't create burnout or rigidity. Watch that one next.